What's up, guys? Today I just wanted to kind of talk about Anthem and some of the struggles that it's facing. Right now, game is amazing. You're going to be seeing some gameplay of me playing the Storm, which is an awesome class, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to kind of go into the end game, what we know so far, and like the struggles that BioWare is going to be facing comes launch time. So, looter shooters, right? Like Anthem, Destiny, Division, they live or they die on endgame and elder game content. No matter how much people don't like it, that's just how it is. I'm really into endgame. I think a lot of people are. And the reason why is because that's the entire reason why you're collecting loot. That's why you're playing the game. And so if there's a severe lack of content at launch, I mean, we've seen time and time again that the game and the player base will just take a huge fucking nosedive. And so that's kind of what I'm concerned about with Anthem right now. It's kind of making me nervous. So before this past playtest, right, the devs were teasing a lot of Shaper Storms, making them kind of be a big deal, right? Strongholds, kind of hinting at raids, but not really. And this last demo, they wait until the final day, everybody's hyped up, and what do you get? You get, what you're seeing right now, which is basically just, it's a bunch of friggin' giants walking around, and I'm reminded of how BioWare handled Mass Effect Andromeda and how much of an absolute shit fest that was, right? And Mass Effect Andromeda, not the single player side, but the multiplayer side. Multiplayer side, it's a lot of fun, repetitive, going around, killing things, getting loot at the end of missions, and then you're expecting a content release at some point. Well, the developers were not in tune with the game at all. They weren't listening to community feedback. They weren't doing anything. But they finally released some new content. And the first thing that they did was hype everybody up about this new boss event, right? And so everybody gets all hyped up about this boss event. Finally, we're going to get content. Awesome, BioWare. Thank you so much. And they did a developer live stream of the content, and prior to the developer live stream, the event went live. Me and my buddies hopped in. We couldn't find the boss. We figured, it's got to be a developer thing that they just toss in. It wasn't. The developers hopped on the live stream, went through the event, and there was no boss because they forgot to flip the switch, and they basically just torpedoed the hype of the game. And from that point on, the game just took a huge nosedive. EA is not the kind of developer, or publisher, I should say, that sticks around with their games when they're not doing well, especially when they invest a lot of money in them. Like the Division, the developers hung around, they turned that game around, right? And now it's amazing. And Division 2 looks like it's going to be on the same track. But with this game, with Anthem, it's running into a very similar thing where they're getting people hyped up about these things. Shaper Storm's going to be a big deal. And then they go and they release it, and it's literally just some Ash Titans walking around. Sometimes they friggin' disappear. I mean, it's very scary. It's scary. It's a really fun game. It's an amazing game. It's a beautiful game. But there has to be in-game content. And for a game that doesn't have PvP, which is fine, but if you don't have PvP, you have no excuse. Like, if you're a 100% PvE game, you have zero excuse to have only 3 strongholds and some legendary contracts at launch. It's just inexcusable, honestly. And people might say, difficulty levels, blah, blah, blah. From the people that have played endgame so far, and played through, I believe they played Grandmaster 1, and they played some of the legendary contract. They basically said it's like a 300% HP increase. And then we know Grandmaster 3 is like a 3,000% HP increase, right? It's just going to be progressively larger levels of bullet sponge. That's not endgame. That's not fun. That's not going to drive you to go and get dope loot. It's just not going to do it. And so they need to say something. They need to be vocal about what's actually happening. They can't go and tease raids. They don't have raids, period. There's no raids right now. They call it aspirational content. That's BS. You know what I mean? That's BS. They have to show what they're doing. They have to tell us, give us a roadmap prior to launch so that people aren't screwed. If they don't release good endgame content other than these 3 higher difficulties, which is just progressive levels of bullet sponge, it's not Diablo where the mechanics change, it's just like healthier bosses, right? It's the same tyrant mine that we faced in the demo, but instead of taking 5 minutes to kill a boss, it takes 45 minutes to kill a boss. Nobody's going to stick around for that for a long period of time. They got to do more. And so I'm really hoping that they do. I'm really hoping that they release the content from what we've seen in Division, World of Warcraft, Destiny. I'm not lumping them all together. They're not all the exact same type of game, but 3 weeks, 4 weeks post-launch, you need to have some Elder Game stuff in there, because once the player base leaves, man, I think EA is gonna torpedo this game if they don't have other stuff in store. And I really hope they do, because it's a beautiful game. But I don't know. It's making me nervous, because they're saying there's a lot of soon. All the developers, oh, we have this plan, we have that plan, but there's nothing concrete left. And so if they don't come out to the community and tell it, there's going to be some big problems, because you got Division sneaking up behind, and those guys know what they did wrong in the first game. They fixed it at the end of the first game, and they're going to come out swinging in the second game, right? Division 2 beta already has PvE, PvP, and they're letting people preview the end game so that people know what they're buying. I mean, like, that's what they're going up against right now. And it's tough, it's steep competition. So I'm really hoping that BioWare figures their shit out and at least tells us something, because right now it's looking pretty scary. It's not, you can't really call it Diablo style where you're facing increasing difficulties. There's only 3 freaking things. One of them we've already done, and the difficulty so far is a 3,000% HP increase and damage increase. I don't care if I'm getting legendary gear if all I'm doing is facing the exact same guy, 0 mechanical differences at all, except it's taking 45 minutes. That sucks. So, I don't know. I'm worried, but I guess we're going to see what happens. At least it'll tide us over to Division if it doesn't end up being that great. But thank you guys for watching and hearing my rambling. If you like my content, please subscribe. I'm going to be just dumping a ton of Division, Anthem, all different kinds of content out, and going to be doing some giveaways. So if you thought this was informative or interesting, please comment below. I promise I'll answer every single one of your questions, comments, anything like that, negative or positive, I don't care. But I want to just get some dialogue going. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say about it. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Are you nervous? I'm just, I really like the game. It's enjoyable, but right now, for a game that's been in development for 7 years, and all they have is PvE content, like 3 strongholds and legendary contracts is not good. It's not good by any stretch of the imagination. Even I'm really hoping maybe they got something else up their sleeves, but the Shaper Storm's huge letdown if they thought that was going to be a big thing, because it definitely wasn't. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I'm Adam D, and please subscribe and comment.
We've got this! Don't let up! That's it! Keep at it! It's finished, it's done. Good.